I'm sure that's
wanted
true
to
for
do.
most girls too, but it just feels like
I
that
knew
to
what
me.
I wanted right away. I knew I wanted to be an artist and something, create stuff. But I don't know. Maybe you just suck, dude. I don't know.
Yeah, like maybe I'm not tiny.
Like, get a fucking hobby. I don't know.
No, I think other way around. I got to get rid of a couple of
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Anime Summit Podcast. It's your favorite host, Sam the Bomb, and with me as always is Full Metal Nick, the second Nick.
The second Nick? Well, like the second raid?
Yeah, the second raid, dude.
From dude, KyoAni animated that. That was their first show.
That's why I did it, because today's show is a KyoAni.
Oh, let me say my catchphrase today. There are no ghosts, only beckoning flowers. Alright, there we go. Now am I Bishonen enough for all the ladies out there?
Just do a Twitter poll. Is Nick Bishonen enough?
Am I kawaii?
After that. Do a Twitter poll real quick. Alright, here we go. Hey, I'm glad you're back for another episode of Anime Summit Podcast. We're doing another Anime Decade Spotlight today. So we're doing 3 for 2012, right? Because we did.
Yeah, roughly, more or less. And we might like change a couple of them down the road. I know. Do we want to mention which one we want to do? Anyway, we can talk about it later.
We can talk about it later. But for those of you who are new and you're jumping in the middle of our Decade Spotlight series, is what we're doing a couple of shows from each year, starting from 2010 up to 2015.
Yeah, roughly thereabouts.
Because we started being a podcast in 2015.
Yeah, we started the seasonal covering. We really started the seasonal stuff heavily in 2016. Like, I would say
right.
Winter 2016, maybe late 2015.
Yes. Because I did not know that I was supposed to be doing that.
You're like, I was supposed to watch stuff?
Yeah, I didn't understand how seasons and shit were.
And I was watching way too much
long,
shit. I was on the other end of it, so.
That's how long I was not out of anime for a while. But anyway.
We're in a happy medium now. We watch 16 shows a season and chop that in half. Finish about half.
I gotta get caught the fuck
Dude,
up.
I gotta catch up too.
But so it's gonna be cool though, because Nick had this idea, right? So by the time it's all said and done, it's 2019 now. By the time 2020 comes, we're gonna have a Decade Spotlight episode.
Q1 2020, quarter one.
It's gonna be a hella long episode. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be great.
It'll be a two-parter for sure. Like
it'll be a two.
It'll probably be like 2 hour-episodes. If we're being
double
honest.
the boner, double the fun, double the Nick, double the fun, double the Sam, double the pants.
Daily lives of Nick
4X.
schoolboys.
Nick schoolboys. Daily Nicks of
Nichijou.
Okay, I'll tell you
Nichijou, more like Nicky Joe.
I'll tell you what. I need a new shout out to Udinger, shout out to Zayla for making me lists of nicknames. But let me get some more, okay? Go on the Discord and type in a whole new list of nicknames.
Whoever comes up with the best
Zayla.
one gets a fabulous prize. A used
Not
figurine.
Udinger and Zayla, because you guys already donated. But like other people, you should do it up. Okay, here we go though. Hey, so later we're gonna talk today's show from 2012. We're gonna talk about Hyouka later on, the coming of age story of some kids and the Classics Club, their after school activity, the Classics Club. Done by KyoAni. It's a pretty cool show. I got a lot of things to say about it. There's a lot of themes involved and such. It gets kind of deep in some parts, and some other times I don't know. We'll get into it, though.
You can tell by Sam's tone of voice how they feel about it. I
don't like that show because that show sucked.
I thought it was pretty good. Right? There we go. That's everybody should watch it.
I don't want to watch. All right, we're done. That's it. That's
all right, yeah.
Anyway.
Pretty good out of 10. Everybody go watch.
Pretty good out of 10.
Dude, that's literally what I think to myself all the time. I see like
pretty good.
A hot girl. I'm like, oh, pretty good out of 10.
It's like you just like you dub yourself. Like instead of saying 5 out of 10, you're like, oh, I better change this to pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought the show was pretty good out of 10. It's like it just sounds like you purposely dubbed it. Hey, right real quick. We're gonna take a break, but we'll be right back. Boom! Check that out for me. Okay?
Sherry's berries. I gotta do that every time.
Okay, you have to you gotta understand something. Is we really have to contact Sherry's Berries now and be like,
Do they still exist? They probably do.
I'm pretty sure they do, because they do like the chocolate covered like strawberries and shit, right? And you can get them sent to like your loved one or whatever. Isn't that what they do? We'll look it up. We'll look it up later. And
you rub them on your nips.
Do the anime summit themed Sherry's Berries. They're dipped in whipped cream and chocolate. I don't know. Anyway. Links.animesummit.net. You can find everything right there. Twitter, Instagram, Discord. Please join the Discord because that's where we are all the time. And also we have a Patreon. Shout out to the current patrons right now. A couple of you guys were patrons like literally the next day after we set it up, which is awesome. Shout out to the current patrons. I'm currently in the process of talking with Nick and Danny about making other things for you guys to have more tiers and other content to unlock for you guys to get ahead of everyone else, or just solely for you guys.
Yeah, we got some good ideas in the pipeline.
That's coming soon, hopefully by this summer for sure. And so
hopefully
really quick,
sometime.
hopefully sometime, maybe
well,
never.
No, for sure
know,
after Anime Expo, because it's been kind of crazy the past month. Because Danny's got her school, and then I got Anime Expo, which is clearly more important than school, as we can all agree.
So that's what I was gonna bring up next. Is so like you guys have been hearing Danny off and on, right? She is on the last legs of school, so she decided
she's living
to
that
not
rose-colored campus life.
Rose-colored campus life. She decided not to be on the next 6 or so episodes, just so she can focus. Starting with this one, just so she can focus on the last weeks of school here. She got bombarded with like a bunch of like business courses and all that shit. So she's gonna focus on that for the next like 6 or so weeks, and then she'll be back. Hopefully. So
that's a bold plan, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off.
Yeah, he won't be able to see very well, Cotton.
Bold plan, prioritizing real life over a podcast. Come on.
How dare she? God, that bitch.
I'm only kidding.
Anyway. yeah. Everyone
Danny,
attacks
just
Nick
in case you don't know,
Danny.
I'm kidding.
She's gonna come on here and be like, I heard what you said about me 6 weeks ago. Yeah. How's that? Why don't you take the dildo out your butt or whatever?
No can do. It's attached.
It's attached. It's fused to my.
Fused to my fissure. Something that rhymes with fuse. Muse.
Anyway, so
fused
there you
to
go.
My
Okay, so she still is running the Instagram and doing a bunch of other stuff. She's going to contribute to ASEX too, still. So she's still working on a bunch of Anime Summit stuff, which is cool. She just won't be a host because she can't keep up with like watching stuff. So anyway, there's that for you. You can hit her up on Discord as well. I think she's that Danny on here. So here we go though. All right, let's get into it. Decade Spotlight. Hyouka. Waifu and Husbando. Let's go. Waifu and Husbando is. Waifu is Eru Chitanda. Best girl, dude.
She's got those purple eyes. Whoo.
She's the cutest fucking. She's just, oh man. She just like.
She's cute as a button. Dude, her hair, she kind of reminds me of like a fox or like a rodent or something.
Yeah.
Just because she's always, or maybe like a dog. She's always just like jamming her face full front on the screen. Just taking up the entire screen with her face, just like a dog would do.
And you just let it happen because she's so cute.
Yeah, she's kind of she drives the story. She drives Oreki to do stuff.
Right. Which brings us to our Husbando, Hotaro Oreki. The lazy, low energy main male character of the story.
He's kind of like what's his name? Tanaka-kun's always listless, except he's not that listless. Like he actually does stuff.
Like,
he can walk on his own. He can walk.
That's right. Yeah, because he'll take a nap while walking, and his friend's like holding him. It's so fucking funny.
Great show, Tanaka.
Oh man, that show's
number one of the decade. No, I'm just kidding.
Number one. But yeah, there's your Waifu and Husbando, Iro Chitanda, and Hotaro Oreki. Hyouka, 2012, man. Here we go. It was created by Honobu Yonezawa. He did the manga, so it's based on a manga that he did. It was directed by Yasuhiro Takemoto. He doesn't have a lot of directing under his belt, but he did Tamako Market and some other things.
You need to
Studio
watch Tamako
KyoAni.
Market, dude. You love that shit.
Yeah, that was one that's
you'd
on
like
my
the show,
Nick's
and the movie is also good. It's like a nice like romance. The movie is more serious than the show, but yeah. Anyway, dude, Kyoto
That's on my
Animation.
Nick's
Did they make a
recommended.
bad show besides Phantom World?
Phantom World.
And even that show had like 2 good episodes.
How many episodes is Phantom World? Is it 12 or
Yeah, it's
20
probably
something?
12. Yeah.
I don't remember.
It was short.
Anyway, so yeah, KyoAni, base KyoAni. The animation director Miku Kadowaki, they did a bunch of other KyoAni stuff. K-On!, Lucky Star, Suzumiya, Nichijou.
Yeah, Kyoto
Tamako
Animation has
Market.
a lot of repeated like directors and staff
Yeah.
because they train their staff themselves, unlike most anime studios, or at least
Right.
they have like a more intensive program and like they treat their employees more humanely than most other anime studios. Like they have more
Right.
reasonable work weeks and they have like a system that really works, you know. So
Right. Which speaking of which, I talked about on my last newscast, and no one has talked to me about it yet. But let me know if you haven't listened to that newscast yet. Go listen to it, the latest one, number 28, I believe it is. I talked about Madhouse studio practices and how they're like
yeah,
overbearing. They're fucked
and
up.
they're
Anyway,
probably the same as like most anime studios, and actually probably a lot of companies in Japan in general. So
God, yeah.
yeah.
Anyway,
Dude, imagine how
so,
good
yeah.
anime would be if like it was a desirable like monetary decision. That'd be crazy. Then again, it'd be more expensive. Maybe it would be. I don't know, because like Japan. I'm going on a tangent. Never mind. The problem is like Japan has like 12 steps for a process that should take 2. So it's like they make their stuff more expensive for no fucking reason.
right,
Maybe that's been phased out lately, but anyway.
right.
End rant.
Or maybe we're just used to convenience. I don't know.
Well, because I mean, you look at American animation studios, and you know, you got to pay an actual wage, and you can't work them. You know, you have to pay overtime or whatever. So, I think
Yeah, labor laws.
it's more expensive to do it here than it is to just go to like India and be like, "Yo, whatever your name is, go animate this for 5 shekels." It's like
Shekels. Shekels.
rubles. Sorry, rubles.
Will you take these 2 chickens as tender? Bah! Anyway.
That's probably better pay than a lot of animators get. Sadly enough.
So Hyouka is it's like a coming of age slice of life. The tags under it are mystery, slice of life, drama, which is in comedy, which is like okay, we'll just call it a coming of age slice of life. It's got 13 eps. Well, it's like 12, but one of them is like a OVA called 11 and a half, so 13. But it's about this guy named Hotaru Oreki. At the request of his older sister, student Hotaru Oreki joins Kamiyama High School's classic literature club to stop it from being abolished. Joined by fellow members Edo Chitanda, Satoshi Fukube, and Mayaka Ibara, the story is set in Kamiyama City, which is a fictional city in the Gifu Prefecture that the author based on his real hometown of Takayama, which is also in the Gifu Prefecture. The fictional Kamiyama High School is based upon the real-life Hida High School. They begin to solve various mysteries, both to help with their club and at Eru's requests. Chitanda's request.
Yeah, and we'll call her Chitanda from now on. That's how everybody knows her. And Oreki is what they call him. So that's just their last names, right? So
yeah, yep.
that's how they address each other in Japan. Like you don't say your first name unless you're like boning. Pretty much.
Or if you're like a really personal, yeah.
I mean, that happens a lot in like sports too. If you play sports in high school, people just call you your last name. They're like, "Hey, Johnson, get over here."
Johnson Front Center.
Or if you're just like a scrub, they'll just say your number. Be like 82. That's even less personal. So
sit down, 82. You're just a number. Fuck you, piece of shit. I told you to fucking run the ball and you threw it like a damn butt wipe.
Wait, 82 is not a quarterback number, Sam.
I don't know what coaches say to their kids.
That's probably.
I don't know anything about sports. I just know that we suck.
Hashtag sports.
I hate it here. Anyway. Dude, Hyouka, I guess it's easier to summarize it because that summary is it didn't really give a lot, but like it's easier to summarize it by kind of quickly summarizing the first episode, which is like Oreki gets a letter from his older sister, and she's like, "Hey, I used to be part of the Classics Club, and it's on. I heard it was gonna be shut down because no one will join it. So can you join it?" So Oreki is like, he doesn't like to do a lot. He just likes to kind of chill as much as he can. All he does is what he's supposed to do, which is like homework, go to school, wake up, go to school, homework, go to bed. That kind of person, you know. So
yeah,
he's like,
going,
"Well, I'm not
going
doing
home
anything."
club.
Yeah,
That's what they call it.
He's like, I'm not doing anything, else, So whatever, I guess I'll just do it. That way it'll stay open. I don't even have to do anything, which is like what she says in the letter too. She's like, you don't even have to do anything. Just say you're in it, He walks in there and then meets Eru Chitanda, and then she joins it for reasons that she reveals later. But she gets locked in he opens it because it's locked, the room, the classroom that the club is in. He takes the public key from the teacher's office, the staff office, and he unlocks it, and she's in there. And then later she's kind of like, wait, the door was locked, how did you get in here? And she was like, it was unlocked when I came in.
Yeah, so they
all of
solve
a sudden
these trivial mysteries like that.
Yeah, so then that was the rest of the episode, was they were trying to figure out.
Yeah, and there's a number of episodes that are standalone, like the locked door. That's the first episode. What else we got? There's a ton of different ones. The show is basically in, I would say 3-ish parts. You get like the first. Oh no, it's 4 parts. I would say because you get the first roughly 7 episodes that are all episodic, right? And then you have the next section, which is the student video project. And then you have the cultural festival, which is the biggest arc. And then after that, you have a few, like 5 or so kind of wrap-up episodes that are also standalones. So
the first 5, I call it the uncle arc. Because
you're right.
That is
that's just the mystery of Hyouka, right?
Yeah, the mystery of Hyouka, or the word Hyouka, and why because they were gonna write an anthology for that year for their club, and Hyouka is the name of the anthology of one of the first issues, which mentions Chitanda's uncle.
Yeah, but episode 1 and like there's a couple in there that are episodic. So
yeah, 1 and 2 don't mention that until at the end.
And I think like 6 and 7, there's like a math teacher one. It's like, why did this math teacher get upset or whatever? It's like.
Yeah. Someone was late for a date.
But that's like the idea of Hyouka is they'll spring a trivial mystery on Oreki. Chitanda will try to get him to solve it because she's so curious about the world. That's her catchphrase is "I'm curious," or how she says it in the sub. She's like, I forgot I can't pronounce it right, but it's like "Watashi kananimasu," and her face like fills up the whole screen and eyes are sparkling purple and you can see his reflection in them, and that's like kind of that's her thing. So she's like the main, again, like I said, she's the main catalyst for the show, but Oreki is the one who is actually, he's like technically the real main character. He's the one who has the most character growth probably, because he starts out being all lazy, and then as the series progresses he discovers personal truths about himself and like where he wants to go and what he wants to do, and that does he like Chitanda, does what about his friends, like how do they feel about different things, that type of stuff. So but it's all slice of life. It's pretty mundane. It's not like high stakes. There's no saving the world, there's no sports tournament, that's it.
It's pretty low key.
That's
and like they
is.
show off Oreki's character at the end of the first episode when they're solving the mystery about how the door is locked. It's like they reveal that Oreki is pretty good at deducing things and thinking things through and figuring shit out. Like he's super smart. So like that's kind of like the thing. Yeah. And then later it becomes the thing where when she says.
And they make a lot of references to like classic mystery novels. I'm not an expert on any of these, so Sam, hopefully you know a little more. But like they talk a lot about Agatha Christie. And obviously, like Sherlock Holmes, Japan is obsessed with Sherlock Holmes. I know. I think the ED, the second ED, was it, where they were all dressed up in like
Sherlock Holmes. Yeah.
Yeah, they were dressed up as like.
Well, no, it's
like Sherlock
it's
Holmes.
Chitanda and Ibarra. Chitanda and Ibarra, they're supposed to be like Holmes and Watson, and then the other Fukube and Oreki, the boy characters.
Yeah, they're
like,
so somebody made a nice
guys.
YouTube video on it. I can't remember the link, but anyway, there's a YouTube. Just type in Hyouka review, and it's on the list. And there's, I think, Lupin and Moriarty are. I think what's his name? I think Oreki's Lupin, and the other guy and his friend is Moriarty. Anyway. You get the idea. They reference these classical mystery novels. So that's kind of cool. I'm not a huge mystery buff, but I actually do kind of like mysteries like Hyouka, where they really do take you step by step, and they do like follow the rule. What do they call those? The rules of a mystery. Do you know the description for that? Anyway, there's like a phrase that describes the X number of rules for a mystery. Like you have to have this, that, and the third. The laws.
They mention it in one of the episodes too.
Knox?
Yes, that's it.
They mention it in one of the episodes. Fiction from Ronald Knox. No Chinaman must figure in the story. No, but I think that was probably referencing something. I think Sorry, I'm just reading random tidbits from this, but. The 10 parts of a mystery. So the criminal must be mentioned earlier in the story. Supernatural are ruled out. No more than one secret room or passage is there, et cetera, et cetera. I don't want to read the whole thing. There's 10 of them.
Yeah, they mention it in one of the episodes, which is kind of cool.
And that was the student video project, I believe, where they talked about that.
Yeah.
Yep. And it's kind of fun to try to like follow along and figure out the mysteries as it's going, and especially on a rewatch, I think Hyouka would get even better.
Right.
But at the end of the day, though, it's not even really about solving the mysteries. That's just kind of like a nice like brain puzzle teaser. That's more of like window dressing for Oreki and the others to like to grow up and learn things as high schoolers basically. And it's never like really in your face about it either.
Right. It's like really subtle.
Yeah, it's
like
almost
a
too subtle.
anime. Yeah, I would.
Although the end was really good the way they did that last episode.
I really do like the ending, actually. Even though it's one of the kind of things I hate in romance sometimes, which is like this anime is not really a romance, but I didn't want to get too deep into. Well, okay, so here's the thing. Like, I don't like the whole. A lot of animes out there will have the two main characters or something, and it's like they like each other the whole entire fucking anime.
Will they? Won't
never
they?
Say it. Yeah, I
do
hate fucking.
Do they kiss at the end, and then it ends?
Yeah,
I think that's what happened in like Maizuna Koku or something. One of those old romances.
It happens in a lot of
them.
Yeah. I fucking hate it. It's literally the worst. Like, and I'm glad that that's why I kind of like SAO was kind of a breath of fresh air to me when I first started getting back into anime, because it's like, okay, finally, like the two main characters are fucking. Let's get it. But like,
everything else is kind of a clusterfuck in that show. But there you go, whatever.
Yeah. But anyway, in Hyouka, I actually kind of didn't mind it, because I was just kind of like, it was more about them growing as people. Yeah, and it wasn't about the thing is it's not really a romance like you said. No, it's not,
because it's not them thinking, oh, how do I get them to like me? That gets really annoying, right? You want them to just live their life and like go through it, and then organically either experience romance or not. You know what I mean? I don't like the shows that are just appear like the only plot is, are they going to get together? Like, that's really boring. This doesn't have that. This actually has like mysteries are solving. They're trying to do well in the festival and sell their anthology book, that type of stuff. And Chitanda and Oreki are trying to figure out what they want to do later, because I guess I'm kind of branching out, but like Chitanda is from a rich family, and she's basically destined to like inherit her family's farm. They own like a farm.
They own they own like that land.
Yeah, they own like land or whatever.
Yeah. There's like a north and south territory,
or the equivalent of it. I don't know if you can own land in Japan. Maybe you can. I don't know. But she's basically pretty rich, and so her path is already like laid out before her. She just has to decide like where she wants to specialize. And Oreki's just like, I don't want to fucking do anything.
Yeah.
But
he finds out later, like as the anime goes on, he finds himself doing it more and more, satisfying Chitanda's curiosity and doing these little mysteries and things like that.
And none of that, you're not really getting hardly any like directly romantic talk at all, right?
No.
Which I like. Like the Mario Okada style of writing, it just kind of gets on my nerves a little bit sometimes, and this doesn't have that, thankfully. So I did appreciate that about it. I mean, it's technically a romance, but yeah, it's not even listed in the genres, right? On Mal. So
no, it's not.
But
it's like literally just like mystery slice of life.
Yeah, it's kind of like
drama,
a subtext thing.
Yeah.
You'll see them blush or whatever, or he'll like Oreki recoil when Chitanda like gets all up in his face.
Yeah. The only other like big romance thing about it is like the other two characters that are in the club, which are like their friends. But like
Satoshi and Miyaka.
That kind of fuels part of the ending a little bit, the last two episodes, but not really. You know what I mean? Like it's just.
Yeah, and I think they mentioned it earlier on too. Like she said she confessed to him or something.
Yeah.
And he was like making her wait.
Yeah, he's like, oh, next year, that is more so just for a driving force for the other characters to grow and find out the reasons why they do the things they do and why they do the way they do them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which was kind of nice. It was secondary, and I didn't have to worry about it. I wasn't waiting for some answer. You know what I mean? You know what? Other than like that stuff, though, I mean, there's a lot of like when you think of coming of age, you think, okay, it's whatever. You know what I mean? Like it's okay, they're growing up, whatever. But there's some episodes, like a lot of them, that sometimes they're not as deep as other episodes. But there's a lot of really deep themes, like that centers on like the talent. Like, what are your talents when you're in high school? What are you supposed to do with these talents when you're out of high school? And
Satoshi actually like verbalizes some of that. So, because he's always talking about, Reki's so talented, I'll never compare or whatever.
Right. And then from there it segues into expectations. What are people expecting of you now because they view you with this talent or talents? You know what I mean? And like they're seniors, right? I think Oreki is, right?
I don't remember exactly what year.
They're like getting ready though.
I think they're 16.
They're thinking about. Okay, that's right. 16? That makes sense actually. Yeah. Yeah, so they're getting ready. They're getting to that point, you know what I mean? So it's like but there's little themes like that throughout that you kind of like little things like that you when you're watching it, you're kind of like, man, I remember feeling like that. Or like you kind of relate to it even in the littlest of ways. And I think that's what kept me watching. Cause like I gotta tell you, I was having a hard time watching it. It was super boring to me.
Hyouka? More like Hyouka.
Yeah.
I had to say that. I wrote it on the sheet.
Look, there wasn't enough proxy battles, okay?
There wasn't enough shouting
was
your attack.
I thought Oreki was going to shout his attack every time. And I thought that when they found out the mystery at the end, he was going to do a cool pose. Right?
Yeah. Like fucking Super Sentai and all that.
Like Conan.
Kamen Rider.
Conan. I thought there was going to be some Conan the Detective shit up in here. It was really nice. It was really nice you can find, even if you watch it without keeping any themes or looking for anything deep in mind, you'll just find yourself going, oh, I relate to that. Like, you don't have to like watch it looking for deepness. It'll just come naturally. And I think that's why it paces so well, because you're just watching it, just chilling, right?
Yeah.
And then it's there, so that was really nice.
But
that's what kept me watching.
I do understand how it was tough for you to like watch it, because it doesn't have like one driving plot. It's just a bunch of kind of very loosely connected things, just like their daily lives, pretty much, throughout the school year.
Right.
So, I understand why some people don't like Hyouka that much, especially on a first watch. The only thing I'll say is that, like, with Slice of Life, that's just how it goes. Like, you don't really have some kind of driving force. It's not like there's not a straight line to the finish with Slice of Life. It just keeps going. It's just a bit. It's a bits and pieces and snapshots, and that's the style of storytelling. And like it's very Japanese way of telling a story, because even a lot of Ghibli movies are like that, where there's not much, like Totoro almost has no plot. So, but at the same time, it's very good. American, unlike American created media, most of it, or at least most of the big stuff, where there's like it's all about the plot, and the characters are just kind of like, oh, that's cool character, blah blah blah. But with anime, a lot of it's just like, okay, let's explore this idea or these couple of characters, fuck plot. Hashtag fuck plot. That's what they do.
Right.
So.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I totally see where people are coming from when they think Hyouka is hard to watch at first, or maybe boring or whatever. But just because, technically it is boring. There isn't really a plot, so there's not as much to latch onto immediately until you get into like this, into like the mode, and like you got to get into the zone,
Right. So that being said, though, the reason why the show is like that, in which when I read some of these essays on the themes and stuff, it made more sense to me and it made me like it more, but like the reason why it's broken down like that, and it's just kind of like, day by day, whether it's like Nick said earlier, there's a couple episodes that are 2-3 parters, but the core message of Hyouka is every little step in life is important and worth treading carefully, is what the core message is. And that's like,
so they're solving these little mysteries, and like brick by brick they're also growing as a person, sort of. So
right. And it's not so much about the mystery as much as it is how they come out on the other side after solving it, but that's what makes the last couple episodes really, really good. Or especially the last one, because Chitanda is like, and this is probably like where we're gonna get into spoilers, right?
Oh, should we
like
spoiler alert?
Spoiler. Spoiler. But like,
you're like the little robot in Mobile Suit Gundam.
Spoiler.
Fucking soccer ball, like kids are kicking you in the face.
Spoiler. Spoiler.
I'm an array.
I forgot what that thing is called. I
don't even know the name, but it's in like every Gundam, right? It's just like some shithead little R2D2. Just a fucking ball that rolls around and like yells annoying phrases.
You just fucking kick it. You're like, fuck out of here, God, just get out of here.
Just imagine that yelling spoilers.
Yeah, imagine that thing yelling spoilers. Chitanda, like, that through most of the series that that she's like rich, right? Like episode 4 or 3. Yeah, I think it's 4. They go to her house, and they're like, "Holy shit, this place is huge." And Satoshi in the beginning, talks about like, oh, she's part of the 4 families or whatever that are part of this city, which is like, he names them all, and Chitanda's one of them. And Nick said earlier that because she's part of this family, she's destined to, keep that family going forward with their land and business and whatever, and the mansion, the Chitanda mansion, and Chitanda estate, whatever, and carry on these like old Japanese traditions and stuff. The last episode really, really is all about that, and it kind of reveals a lot about Chitanda and like her power and all that stuff, and what she's supposed to do with her family. And the ending of the episode is her like thanking Oreki for, because like the whole plot of the episode is they're doing this this ritual at a festival for their territories and stuff. And the person who was supposed to hold the umbrella over her got fucked up. So she asked Oreki to do it. And he's like, okay, fine.
Oh, the anime trope. Sharing an umbrella.
Sharing an umbrella. But yeah, it's called like the doll festival, and she like dresses up as a doll, and he carries the umbrella. So by the end of it, he's like going home, and she's just like, she's explaining all this to him, what I just explained to you, and what Nick explained to you earlier. And she's just like, I wanted you to see that part of me, because, I you know what, like that was deep as fuck, because it's like you break yourself down the most in front of people you trust, right?
Yeah.
And that was just really cool. That was a fucking
No,
cool
that was
moment.
way more romantic than like a kiss or a hug or something. You know what I mean?
Or it's just saying I love you. Yeah.
That stuff
like,
is fine. You know, it's cheesy. Like this was like real. You know?
Right, and it was all, of course, in front of a bunch of sakura trees that were blooming out.
Yeah, it was like
season.
perfect, like perfectly scenic. It was all purple. That's why I call Hyouka the purple anime, because it's her eyeballs.
The purple anime,
and then like scenes like this.
And like you could say that in itself is cheesy, right? But no, it's the fact that the sakura trees were blooming out of season that made it cooler. You know what I mean? Because they weren't in season, yet they were still blooming and blowing everywhere. And she was just like, she got really vulnerable out of nowhere, you know? And it was just, oh man.
And, and the thing that made it good too is like, they didn't go all out and like embrace or any of that. Because it's not a romance anime, you know? There's that aspect behind the scenes, not even behind the scenes, but like, they're all still like just about to think about it, you know what I mean? So I like that they didn't tack it on at the end. You know, he thought about it at first. And like, there's a fake out where he basically confessed to her, but it was in his mind because he was still building up the courage, you know. So it's not ever really about the, you know, getting together or that moment, because it's gonna happen, you know, in the story. I just liked how they did that. They didn't tack it on because like, look, one of my favorite cartoons, not technically an anime, but you know, Legend of Korra has a lot of its own issues. They tacked on a romance at the end of it that was just. I don't know if Sam disagrees, but I won't spoil Korra. But like, there's a tacked on moment at the end of the series, and I just felt like I'm glad that Hyouka didn't do that here, although it would have made more sense here anyway. But you know what I'm saying?
Haterade.
Yeah, and that was just a great scene.
I agree.
Like, people like growing and experiencing like events and activities and all that. That's way more meaningful than just like, oh, I'm gonna do this simple little task and maybe they'll like me or whatever. I'm gonna get them this gift. You know,
right? That also really kind of like it's the way that characters are. You know what I mean? Like, Oreki is supposed to be kind of this person who figures out things about people. Like, he can see when things are off or when someone's feeling a certain way, and he may or may not have seen Chitanda feeling a certain way, and maybe he might have been oblivious to it, but that didn't matter because by the end of it, she was just like, no, I want you to see this, and that's another reason I asked you to hold the umbrella, kind of thing. And it was just kind of nice, like, you know, he's not this all smart, super intelligent guy who figures everything out, you know what I mean? But it's really cool like that. And it's not just with Chitanda either, it's also with Satoshi, who he's known, you know, since middle school.
Oh yeah, he confronts Satoshi about about his romance with or lack thereof with what's her name, Mayaka
Ibarra. Yeah, Mayaka Ibarra. And it was which was kind of cool because like that in itself too is like they went into this arcade and he knew that Satoshi was acting like a little different because the game they were playing, which was a real game by the way, I don't know if just a fun tidbit is the game they were playing was actually Virtual On, which is a real game by Sega, and it was a real arcade game where you could go head-to-head with mech fighting robots.
Shout out
awesome.
to that show that you liked with the doll people.
High Score
yeah.
Girl?
Hyouka is just a prequel to High Score Girl. Or a sequel? It's a sequel, yeah.
It's a prequel sequel. It's a pre-sequel.
No, because High Score Girl is like early 90s, but whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, no, Virtual On. But the reason I point that out also, though, is because Virtual On is a third-person robot-to-robot fighting game. And there's two kind of different ways to fight. You just go straight to your opponent and fuck them up, right? Or you can be defensive and hide behind buildings and shoot from afar. And he mentions that in the episode. He was like, Satoshi's acting weird. Normally, he wants to win. But he's playing like more defensively for some reason. And Oreki ends up winning. And it's like, man, that's really weird. Back in the day in middle school, every time he lost, he would get super pissed. Like, he'd get super mad. But he's not mad right now. And that kind of plays into, like, the episode later, towards the end, when they're trying to figure out who took Ibarra's chocolate for Satoshi. And it turns out Satoshi took it because he's not ready for commitment, because he's afraid of himself getting obsessed, and all this stuff. And then Oreki's just like, dude, I knew you was acting fucking weird, man, because you didn't get salty when I whooped your ass in martial law. But like, it's really cool. That's just, it's little things like that sprinkled throughout each episode or each arc that kind of make the resolution of the little trivial mystery that much cooler, because that's how much it plays into the growth of each character.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And the other thing too is we need to mention Studio Kyoto Animation made this. We already mentioned that, but like, we need to emphasize how good the animation looks in Hyouka, which kind of enhances a lot of these scenes, especially like the end scenes. And actually, like episode 1 had a lot of great parts too.
When he walks in the room in episode 1.
Yeah, and then like
Chitanda's
when he's
there.
imagining little miniature Chitandas crawling over his body, saying like, "I'm curious."
Right.
He went full on.
That's
Akira
actually,
there.
yeah, we should mention that. Every time they're about to start a new mystery or whatever, like they're always telling the story of this or story. Oh, did you hear about the story of this or
Yeah,
whatever?
and they use different styles
Before-
for them too. Like the one where they researched the grandpa, it's Chitanda's uncle. Sorry.
Chitan's
Yeah,
uncle, yeah.
and like
Seki
the animation for that was different style, like to show how old it was. And it was
Yep.
like kind of like a sketchy. I'm not a good explainer there, but yeah, it looked way different. But it also
the little horror story about the girl in the room, and she's seeing like the scary girl like raising up.
and this
or
wouldn't
whatever,
have worked
Was like
without that animation.
right, and then also with the movie arc one where the audio video club shows them their horror mystery movie or whatever, and it doesn't have an ending, and they're like, "Oh, you guys need to figure out the ending," and that's like the mystery. But when they're watching it, it's supposed to be like a found footage like movie, and
Dude,
the
prequel to
acting
Mayoga.
is like really bad. Yeah,
They were filming
God.
Mayoga. Wait, maybe Mario Okada did write this.
Oh my God.
Oh man.
Yeah, no, like the acting was really bad. So like, but it was animated. It was animated slightly differently to show that it was supposed to be like a found footage,
Yeah.
movie or whatever. Yeah, it was really cool. It was a different kind of style of animation for each build up to the mystery, which was awesome. But yeah, the regular animation by itself.
Yeah, it looks phenomenal. Like Kyoto Animation goes above and beyond in all their shows. Just
They
like
do.
with just basic character animations, they'll show like hair flickering. They'll do the extra drawings and movements that most shows like JC staff, like we can see with the new One Punch Man season, I don't know if they don't have the budget or the staff or what, but they don't animate anything more than the bare minimum. But Kyoto Animation does the maximum. They'll animate everything almost as if it's a live action. Like even in
Right.
a TV show, they'll do it. So that's always like, you don't really appreciate it until you watch shows from other studios and you see how many corners are cut.
Right. It's all like about side by side. Just that even little moment, even though it's just and obviously it's the first episode, so they want to showcase shit like that just to get you hooked. But like when he's walking into the room and he sees Chitanda, he unlocks the room and sees Chitanda there. They spend like a whole like 15 seconds of him just walking up to her because it's supposed to be kind of like this dramatic, her face turns to you, to the camera kind of thing.
Yeah.
And oh man. And that's when you realize how cute she is, and it's like, oh man.
The funny thing is, apparently the staff liked Mayaka more than Chitanda because she's
Bullshit.
more chibi, or she's more
It's
tiny.
bullshit, man.
That's the tininess is valued in Japan. You gotta be tiny.
You saying I'm fat?
No, I'm just saying you're not tiny, bro. Yeah.
Fuck off.
So and also in addition to the animation, the OST kind of highlighted a lot, especially when every time they went into a mystery, it would play like a really fitting theme music. The OST. They'd also use some classical music. Which ones? They used a bunch of classical music. I couldn't name them, but there's a mixture of that and new stuff, I think.
I believe it's one of them was Beethoven. I know that.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, there's a
But
bunch
yeah.
of it. So there's like a mixture of classical and then also like Hyouka music.
Yeah, it was like a lot of Bach. There was a Chopin piece. I don't remember what the Chopin piece was.
Just list
And
off
then
Bach,
there was
Chopin, Beethoven. They're probably in there, right?
Debussy, I think, was in there. But yeah.
Was
anyway.
Despacito in there?
Desperate Cheetos.
Yeah, so
Gabriel Faure.
now that we've finished our Mal style review where we just list off different categories. Animation, sound, characters.
It's like that one episode of Family Guy is like, yeah, I got to get home so I can record my new podcast about hats. Baseball hat, top hat, backwards baseball hat. It's just like him listing off hats.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
man.
well, we didn't really
anyway,
talk a lot about Satoshi and Mayaka, but they're the other two members of the club. It's a 4-person club in the literature club. The whole point of their club is to publish their anthology and like sell it at the festival. Is that right? They solve mysteries and talk about history, basically.
Yeah.
And
yep.
Sayaka, she's kind of like the really bossy girl who she's also into manga, and there's like an arc with her cosplaying and, you know, talking about manga and all that. So they have their own like character arcs, and Satoshi's good at cooking, and he helps, you know, in the festival cooking, and they're kind of fun characters too. I didn't like Sayaka's personality as much as I like Chitanda's. I mean, I know Chitanda, it was weird though, because like Chitanda didn't technically grow as much if you think about it. She did, but it wasn't as much. Oreki is like the real number one as far as like character growth, right? They all did,
yep.
you know, have something happen, but he was like head and shoulders past them.
Well, the thing about Chitanda too is like her shit was already figured out, so it's like they didn't really need to do much.
Yeah, sort of. Yeah.
Yeah. With
Dude,
her.
not to be sexist or anything, but is that like true for all girls? So they just like know what they're gonna do in life from day one?
I mean, I did.
Dude,
I don't know.
I feel like it happens more often with guys. They're just like listless. Like they don't fucking know what to do. That's probably not
I know,
accurate,
like
though. That's probably not true.
pretty much all of my guy friends did not really know.
I'm
what
sure
they
that's
wanted
true
to
for
do.
most girls too, but it just feels like
I
that
knew
to
what
me.
I wanted right away. I knew I wanted to be an artist and something, you know, create stuff. But I don't know. Maybe you just suck, dude. I don't know. Like,
Maybe I'm not tiny.
like, get a fucking hobby. I don't know. Like,
no, I think other way around. I got to get rid of a couple hobbies. Yeah, tangent aside, the characters were kind of were fun. I like the you watched the OVA, right, with the swimming pool.
yes.
And they were trying to find some lost jewelry in the pool. It turned out it was just ice cream. He's like, Chitanda, hold Mayaka. Oh, your hand touched her ear or something. It was ice cream. God, some of the mysteries were pretty funny though. Did you have a favorite mystery before we give our final thoughts, or any favorite what was your favorite either arc or mystery?
The movie one.
You like the
movie
student project?
Yeah. I don't know why. It was cool the way it was set up. So like, I mean, like I kind of mentioned it earlier, but yeah, the Audio Video Club didn't finish their horror movie, and that's because the person writing the script got sick at the end. So like, they never finished the script, so they never filmed the rest of it. And then there was a bunch of stuff that played into it, like, oh, the location of this and the little house that they were in, and who killed the guy or the character.
Yeah, we won't spoil exactly what happens in all the mysteries.
Yeah, no, we won't. But it was just really cool because the way it was presented, the one person from the Audio Video Club was like, you should be able to figure out who the killer is just from the information here. So figure out the ending. And the Classics Club was like, okay, well, what the fuck? Like, that's not even enough info. And she's like, it's totally enough info. It's all right there. So they had to speak to like 3 other members of the Audio Video Club to figure it out, which is like really cool. Like there's talk to the props guy, and then
yeah, I like that one a lot too. Actually,
it was just like really cool, like the way it went down. I don't know why.
So I agree with you. The student video project was really cool, and like the way they shot that was a fun one. The one that I liked the most was the math teacher one, where Chitanda, I think her class gets yelled at for doing poorly on or not knowing a math question, and the resolution to that was just really funny. I don't want to spoil it exactly, but let's just say like it's like the teacher misread something, and the way that it happened was hilarious. Like just something as simple as that, as like a simple misunderstanding, can lead to people getting upset at each other, you know. So that one I really enjoyed. That just comes to mind a lot. So they're all really good. I like most of the episodes.
One thing that I didn't understand was, you know how every anime has got the little transition right in the middle, and it's like Hyouka. Boom,
Oh, the end cards or whatever.
No, the middle card.
The mid cards.
You know.
Like Gurren Lagann did that every
Yeah.
episode, right?
Yeah.
I think
and
Full
it would
Metal
show the
Alchemist did
title.
that too. They had really good ones.
Yeah, a lot of animes do it. With Dragon Ball Z, they do like a little animation of Goku
Dude,
driving a car or some shit.
What was it? Keijo did that, right? I think
Yeah.
Monster Musume had some good ones. They had like information on there.
The one that Hyouka did, every episode has a little thing from the East Asian lunisolar calendar, which is in Chinese culture and Japanese culture. So it says a little thing. So in Japan, the first episode it said Tsubame Itaru, which is the swallow flies back from the south, or I think they say the last of it. So it's Niji Hajimete Aroru, which is rainbows begin to appear in the sky after the shower. I don't know why they did that. I tried to like look it up. I think the main reason they did that is because the show is the way it is written. You know, it's kind of like it's over the course of their school year. You know what I mean? And it's supposed to like show progression. Because the word Hyouka itself means like, it means ice cream or frozen dessert. But like it can be said in another way, like prolonged. So I don't know. That's what I gathered from it.
Oh, it's good that we
Maybe-
described the meaning of the name of the show. Because I didn't even look that up. I was like, I just kind of accept it. It's a name.
Yeah, no, it has to do with the mystery of Sekitani Jun, which I don't want to spoil.
Yeah, and that was Chitanda's uncle.
Chitanda's uncle,
Which
yeah,
I think
which
that
is,
itself is a minor spoiler. Is it?
no.
Did she? I feel like she didn't reveal
kinda.
that right away, and then they found out.
Yeah, because they figured out that
The thing is, it's a slice of life. You can't really spoil too much.
well, I don't want to spoil the mystery,
Yeah.
but the librarian ends up telling him the reason of why things went down the way they went down, and then Oreki figures it out after that, which is fucking cool because he figures out everything. He's a boss. So yeah, final thoughts. Even though I felt like it was hard to watch at times because I was bored. I don't know, man. Everything else about it was so good though.
So
like that aside,
here's what you should do: like compare it to, just kind of put it in your own like mental tier list in your head for anime. It's like, okay, what tier is it? Better than this? Worse than that? You know what I mean? You don't even have to give it a number because numbers are just arbitrary. But just think like, oh, where would it fit in what anime you've seen so far?
I would put it on the same level as what I put Daily Lives of High School Boys.
Oh, really? But you like that one a lot more though, right? Or maybe I'm just putting words in your mouth.
Yeah,
it just sounded
it's
like
just
you
that
liked it more.
Hyouka. It's just that there's so much other stuff I loved about Hyouka though that makes up for the boringness. That like I kind of just like putting it on that level, like as a slice of life, right? I definitely liked it better than Usagi Drop.
Yeah. I'm thinking more and more on Usagi Drop, and I think just like the premise of that one, like it had a lot of good moments, but it's gonna be tough for that one. It's gonna be really tough for that one to make my list. I'll put it that way. It was worth watching.
Usagi Drop
it was
is
worth watching.
really cute,
Yeah.
and the style and everything. But like I don't know. I would say it's pretty good though. I would recommend.
Pretty good out of 10. See, you didn't even need to listen to us.
That's true. What do you shut up. What do you do it? What do you rate it?
Yeah,
Where does it
probably pretty
stand?
similar. Right now it's tentatively in my top 50, so we'll see.
It's better than Tatami
And
Galaxy.
it could move up or down. Oh, you liked it more than Tatami Galaxy. Okay. Interesting.
I don't, dude. Okay, speaking
I
of
think
Tatami Galaxy,
this was easier to watch than Tatami Galaxy, but
definitely.
most things are easier to watch than Tatami Galaxy.
Which is funny because like they both kind of talk about that rose-colored life.
Yeah, except that one is
Kinda
more college. This is high school, and I think it's like
Yeah,
they're
more
they're
about
like kind of
college.
reverses of each other, right?
I would sit there with the newsstand next to the guy in the heart of love, and then I have to fart.
No, they're reverses of each other because he starts out really energetic and then gets lazy, and then other way around in Hyouka.
That's right.
Sort of, but like that one was Tatami. I think
there's-
Tatami Galaxy was better. Just on my own personal list, I think it was better made than Hyouka. It doesn't have as good of like Kyoto animation, but like the style of it and like the directing and even a lot of the dialogue was better. But it was harder to watch. But I would still rank it higher. So it's like it's less like quote unquote enjoyable, but it's also, in my personal opinion, better. If that makes any sense.
Yeah. I disagree.
Yeah, you can disagree. That's fine. You should always do that. I'd be like, I disagree. I think you're full of crap. At a business meeting.
I think you're bullshitting me, but that's fine. Fucking jive turkey.
Look, if you have refined taste, then you'll like Tatami Galaxy.
I'm Nick. We can't all have good taste on my butt.
Got to be on your ivory tower.
You, ivory tower.
But yeah, I think we can both agree that it's good enough to be in the top 50 for sure. Like in our list, probably.
So if you haven't seen Hyouka, I definitely recommend it. Definitely get past. At least watch the first arc, the uncle arc, which is like the first 5 episodes, and then see how you feel from there.
Yeah.
Otherwise, just watch the whole thing just because of the beautiful animation.
It has a good dub too. Like I actually enjoy the dub. Some people might not like it, but it's better than most dubs. I'll put it that way.
For sure.
The sub is great. Obviously, you can't really go wrong with it. I almost kind of preferred the dub to the sub though. Maybe
dub,
that's
sub,
just
dub,
me.
Sub.
Was that? Did you feel the same? Did you try out the dub?
No, I like the dub. I kind of just preferred the sub just because.
Yeah, it can go either way.
I don't know. I like when I'm watching Japanese high school shit. I like the sub.
Oh, depending on the setting. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm one of those.
Like
ever since you said it.
For only yesterday. Like, that's like the one I go to. Or Grave of the Fireflies. It's like, you're not gonna watch that in fucking dub. Are you kidding me? That makes no sense if they're talking in English.
The bombing of Hiroshima. Damn it.
Oh God, we gotta watch Barefoot Jen at some point.
Oh man!
Actually, I snuck that one onto our list later in the year. We don't have to, but I put it on there.
Hey, let us know what you think of Hyouka, okay? Let us know how we're doing on our decade spotlight so far. And you know what? Start making your top 50 of the decade right now.
Yeah, we want to see audience participation in this.
Fucking, you know what? I should have Nick make like a public version of like the spreadsheet he made of like all the shows from each decade.
Oh yeah.
And you guys can look
I'll
at that.
I'll probably have to
like
it'll have to be one where I share it, where only people I share it to can use it. If that makes sense.
Well, just make a copy of it and take all the color coding out. And then
yeah,
just show
we'll make it so that
what I mean?
a random person can't come in and just delete everything.
Yeah, right, yeah. Just make it so you can only view it. But that way you're not scrolling through mail all stupid and stuff, and you can see, you can color code the ones we've done episodes on.
Yeah.
But start making your list right now because I want to see that shit. I want to fucking see it.
Dude, it's hard. Like, it's easy at first. You're like, oh, I really like this show, that show, and then so you have your list. Then it's like, oh shit, I don't have this in my list. I don't have X,
you
Y,
start
Z.
comparing shit, yeah.
And it's like, oh man,
fuck.
And then it comes to a point. It's like, how do you even want to, like, what is the criteria? Like, oh, is it just the things I enjoy the most? What is like what I thought was the best? Maybe do I want to get every genre in there? Do I want to get an example of, different types of shows?
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
you got to figure that out.
I
don't even know.
So
I got my list, but I don't even know.
So I don't even know what I'm doing.
I'm figuring it out. I'm getting there.
So let us know what you think, okay? Check it out, all right? That being said, I've had a lot of fun. I love you guys. I've been Sam. That's been Nick. And we've been the Anime Summit Podcast.